Morning, students. So we were doing the Vedic civilization. Let me just give you the small briefing about the previously studied topic. You have studied that Harappan civilization had started declining around 1500 BC, and with the migration of Aryans, the Vedic age started. Okay, the Aryans were the inhabitant of the Caspian Sea. After that, they migrated towards the Europe and Asia, and around 1500 they came to India and were known as Indo-Aryans. The descendant or successor, maybe you can say, of the Harappan civilization, who were the local inhabitant, were called to be as Dasas and Das. So they served Aryans and come under the category of the fourth category, that was serving the Aryans. The first three categories were the Brahmins, Kshatriya and Vaishya. Okay, Brahmins were the priests, performed religious rituals. Kshatriyas were the warriors. The Vaishya category, normal folk comes, the merchants and the businessmen and industries producer, and Shudra were the slaves. We also have spoken about their foods and drinks. The rice, barley, cake were their made food. They also were had milk and milk products in their diet, and the soma drink was also in their festival, was taken during the festivals. Dress was simple clothes consisting of lower garment called nevi and the upper piece like a shawl. Men tied turbans and women wore ornaments and sari and precious stones. Entertainment, they were in gambling, music and hunting. Instruments like drum, flute and mridang were in the practice, and indoor games like dice and gambling was very popular. So the Vedic period, the Aryans were cattle reared and people, so they domesticated cows, goats, sheep and other animals, horses, okay, for their domestication, for domestic purpose. So the one who has many cows was considered to be the wealthy person or called Gumar, and many fights were fought for cows. So they had the basic knowledge of weaving clothes, harvesting and threshing. And how come we know about the history of Vedic age? Through the Veds we have. So we have 4 Veds: Rig Ved, Yajurved, Atharved, Samved. The oldest of them is Rig Ved. Now let us talk about the later Vedic age. Vedic age can be divided into 2 parts: later Vedic age and the Vedic age. Later Vedic age started from 1000 to 600 BC, and the Vedic age, early Vedic age, is from 1500 BC to 1000 BC. Okay, for 500 years. And so now coming to the today's topic, religion. The people in the early Vedic age worship the faces of forces of natures like wind, rain, water, fire, thunder, etc. For every natural incidents, they have a particular god. For personified these natural forces, that they looked upon them as a living being having human qualities. A large number of god and goddess are mentioned in the Rig Ved, such as Indra, the god of rain; Agni, the fire god; Surya, the sun god; Varun, the god of water; Yama, the god of death; Vayu, the god of wind; Rudra, the god of storms, etc. So in Rig Ved it's a mention that the gods were having human quality, human looking face, and for the different natural forces, a personified god was there, which we can see in mythological series also. Indra god, Agni god, Surya god, Varun, Yam and Rudra. The Vedic Aryans worshipped some female goddess like Usha, the goddess of dawn, Prithvi, the earth goddess, and Aditi, the great mother of gods. The early Vedic Aryans did not construct temples or images to worship gods. They worshipped the god through the recitation of prayers and offering of sacrifices. They performed yajnas or yag, in which they made offering of vegetables, barley, ghee, etc. So yags were and sacrifices were in the practice. Idol worship was not there. Images were not worshipped that time. Yags were performed and sacrifices were in the practice, and it is believed that if they perform practice, the deities will be happy and it will be good for their cattle life and their family life. Now let us talk about the later Vedic age. The later Vedic age, when the Aryans moved from the region of Sapta Sindhu to Gangetic valleys, is known as the later Vedic age. It was during the period that three Vedas named Rigved, Samved, and Yajurved and Atharvaved and their branches, Brahmanans, Arankas, and the Upanishads were composed. The two great epic, Ramayana and Mahabharata, were also composed during this period. That is why it is called the epic age. So Aryan now moved from Sapta Sindhu region to the Gangetic valleys, and now the epic age has started in the later Vedic age. Political organization. In the later Vedic age, the Aryan established bigger kingdom in place of the tribal setups of the earlier period. Now, when the early time the whole region was divided into small setups of family and tribes, now they were having big kingdoms. Kingship became hereditary. The kings adopted such lofty titles such as Adhiraj, Maharajidhiraj, and Samrat to show their power and prestige. The king used to perform a number of sacrifices like Ashwamedh Yajna and Rajas sacrifice and Vajpaya Yajna. You must have seen Ramayana in television, but let me tell you the story of Ramayana. The Ramayana was originally composed in Sanskrit. The Sanskrit version is said to be the work of Maharshi Valmiki. The story of Ramayana revolves around Ram and the abduction of wife Sita by a demon king Ravan. The battle between Ram and Ravan, duty, devotions, and love shown by the brothers is told in detail. Rama had three brothers, Lakshman, Bharat, and Shatrughan. Rama was the eldest, fourth son of the Dashrath, the ruler of Ayodhya, who had three queens. Rama was the son of the eldest queen, Kaushalya, and was the heir apparent to the throne. After Rama was married to Sita, he was to be installed as the king at the juncture. King Dashrath of the queen Kaikeyi reminded him of the promise he had made earlier to grant her a wish. Kaikeyi was the beloved wife of Dashrath. Dashrath made a promise to Kaikeyi that he would grant her a wish. Later on, she demanded that Bharat to be the king of Ram instead of Rama, and Rama to be sent into exile for 14 years. Rama, along with his wife and brother Lakshman, went to the forest, obeyed the command of his father, obeyed the wish of his father. In disguise of sannyasi, Ravan, the demon king, abducted kidnapped Sita in a more easy language and took her to Lanka. Rama took the help of Sugriv and Hanuman. They crossed the ocean and defeated Ravan. Rama then, along with Sita and Lakshman, proceeded home. Having completed the 14 years exile, he was crowned the king. So this is the story of Ramayana. Now let us talk about Mahabharata. The story of Mahabharata. The king of Hastinapur, Dhritarashtra, had 100 sons, known as Kauravas. Dhritarashtra's brother Pandu, who died and had 5 sons, known as Pandavas. In course of time, Dhritarashtra named Pandav Yudhishthir his successor. This angered Duryodhan, the eldest of the Kauravas. Then caused the enmity and jealousy between the cousins. Once during a game of dice, Yudhishthir, the eldest Pandav, lost his kingdom as well as Draupadi to Duryodhan. In accordance with the terms of agreement, the Pandavas had to go into exile. After the completion of the exile, the Pandavas asked the Kauravas to return their kingdom, but Duryodhan refused to return their kingdom. Duryodhan refused to give anything. So the war known as the Mahabharata followed. Arjun, a Pandav who reluctant to fight, Krishna ultimately gave him discourse and prevailed upon him to do his duty. This discourage in the battlefield is compiled in the form of Bhagavad Gita. It forms a part of the Mahabharata. The Mahabharata war lasted for 18 days. In the war, all Kaurav brothers were killed and Yudhishthir became the ruler of Hastinapur. So, Hastinapur, Dhritarashtra had 100 sons and his brother Pandav had 5. But there were war, like who will be the successor. First, he promised Yudhishthir to be the successor, which angered Duryodhan, and then in a gambling game, Yudhishthir, the eldest Pandav, had lost everything. Then they had to go to exile, and after coming from exile, when they demanded their kingdom back, then the brother Duryodhan refused to give anything, and ultimately the war happened. Arjun never wanted to fight, so Lord Krishna told him and reminded him of his duty. Then this is the composition in Bhagavad Gita, and the war lasted for 18 days. Ashwamedh Yajna. You must have seen in the movies or in Ramayana also, when Lord Rama had Ashwamedh Yagna, he set his horse free, and then Kush captured it, and then Lord Rama had to appear before Kush, and this is the ending of the Ramayana. Okay, in Ashwamedh Yajna, what happened? Our horse is let loose. It is a special horse accompanied by the soldier for a year to wander at will. The king would lay his claim over all those territories over which the royal horse moved unchallenged. So wherever the horse will go, all the territories will belong to the king. And if the horse got challenged by any ruler or captured by another ruler, it meant war between the two kingdoms. At the end of the year, the horse was sacrificed during the Yajna. Rajasya sacrifice. It was performed to confer supreme powers on the king. It was connected with king consecration. Vajpayee Yajna. Vajpayee Yajna. The term Vajpayee is a combination of two words, Vaja and Pay, meaning rise and drink, respectively. As the name suggests, the Vajpayee sacrifice was believed to bring in bountiful crops and plentiful water. So it was performed to please the deities, to have a good crops and plentiful rainwater. As the kingdom grew bigger, the king appointed numbers of officials to assist him. The popular assemblies lost their earlier importance. The Sabha and Samiti came to be dominated by chief and rich nobles. Women were no longer permitted to attend this assembly. When we were learning about the early Vedic age, we got to know that women were given equally permission to attend the assemblies. Okay, the Samiti was attended by everyone, even the women, but now the scenario was now changed. Only the dominant chief person or the rich nobles can attend the assemblies. So today we will do this much, and in our next class we will talk about the social organization during the later Vedic age.